Peace to the kings and queens. It's your brother Tim Grae from Grae Wellness, and I'm going to welcome you back to the Melanated Medicine Podcast, what is a health and wellness podcast through a BIPOC lens. And today I have my sister from another mister, but I hope she didn't miss me, Miss Tammeca Rochester. Let's give it a sister a round of applause. Come on in. Say hello, Tammeca. Say,
hello,
come on.
Tim.
Work with me, man. Come on. Hold on. Studio audience, can I get a round of applause, please? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's so much better. That's a little bit better. All right, cool. All right, shut up. Hi, Meek.
Hey, Tim.
All right, so I'm going to start this episode a little bit different because I want to give her some accolades from the gate. A little story time. A couple years ago, I saw Tammeca receive one of the coolest things that I ever thought I could see. And that was she was at Yankee Stadium throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. I am a diehard Yankee fan, and I am a baseball player. So, of course, I wondered how the hell did the girl from Atlanta get into the Bronx before me? I was happy for her. I didn't care why she was there. I just wanted to know how I could get in. Now, that being said, unbeknownst to me, I did not know how she got there. It was just really cool. Next thing you know, she was doing something at the World Series, too. I'm like, yo, what is she doing in baseball? Fast forward, I had an opportunity to do something called the MasterCard Save at Home program. Did not know what it was, and I submitted as a small business owner, wound up getting selected to be in the final 5. And I was like, oh, this is so super cool. Unbeknownst to me, this was the same thing that Tammeca had prior won. So, of course, I got that far without expecting myself to have gotten any further than that. So I left it at that. So we get invited to Yankee Stadium. So I want you to understand the context for a kid from Harlem that could see Yankee Stadium from his apartment building. One of the things of the finalists, you can do a tour of the stadium. I am happy, as my mother would say, as a pig in shit. Okay? I was just ecstatic to be able to walk around, sit in the press box, just childhood moment. To the fact that I was able to tell the guide who was giving us the tour a fact about Yankee Stadium that he did not know.
Oh, wow.
Right. So he always said that, the only person that almost hit the ball out was Mickey Mantle. And he hit it to the top rafter. And I said, actually, you're wrong. He goes, what? Mind you, on the tour.
Oh, I was on that tour taking notes because I was like, oh, I didn't know this.
I told him, I said, actually, Mickey Mantle hit it at the top and it fell back in. But the person who did hit it out, his name was Josh Gibson. And this is when Negro League players used to play the Major League players.
Wow. See, okay, you deserve to be there.
Yeah, so I had that moment. I was just like, no, black man did it. So, but fast forward, we're at the final. We're sitting at the dinner. I'm just happy to be in this room. And they began to announce the award winner, and then Tammeca walks in. And I get to see my friend. I'm like, hey. And she has her pleasure. Hey, how you doing? And she's always the sunshine in the room, completely all the time. And then she speaks to the sister who's behind me. And then the judges started speaking to the sister behind me. So I was like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm out. Let me just enjoy the free steak and call it a day. This is good. They announced the winner, and I literally did not hear them say my name. To the fact that my friend who was sitting in front of me goes, fool, get up. And that's when it registered. And then first thing I did was look for you. To the fact that it still makes me emotional now because I wasn't used to winning. So I'm used to working hard. I'm used to persevering through. I'm used to finding my way to, with the vibrato and banging of the chest of saying you can do something. And sometimes you just got to coach yourself into position.
Because, when I walked in that room and I saw you, Tim, because I knew a couple of the businesses in there. Yeah. So I went and said hi to everyone. And I was like, Tim got this.
No, you didn't.
I did. I said, Tim got this.
Mind you, I want to say she has never told me this.
I knew because I was like, oh, let me say hey to Tim. Okay, let me talk to everybody else so they'll not know that I know who's going to win this.
Wait, you knew before?
Yeah.
Oh!
I knew. But when I saw, because when I came in, I saw.
Wait, stop. I had no idea you knew.
Because if I had continued talking to you, I would have given it away. So I was like, let me go talk to everyone else so I could be like, hey, yep.
All right, so this is a whole discovery moment. This is a genuine response because I had no idea you knew already. Oh, man, I feel so stupid now.
No, someone had whispered it to me, and I was like, and then I just couldn't look at you. I was like,
Yeah, you did that
Hold
well.
a poker face and talk to everyone else.
You did that well. You did that well. But to that point, so one, thank you, because you were the inspiration for me trying. Okay, and I think that sometimes can get lost, is that, you know, we need to be able to see somebody be successful at something before we even willingly go into it.
Representation always matters.
It's such oh man, that just makes it feel so much better. Why? Because, and this is me landing my plane, although I do understand that this is your interview, so I do apologize. I just needed you to know. I feel like Nori on Dream Chats, because he always takes over the goddamn thing. But I need to thank you for that, because two things happened from that. Okay, great. I won. It was an amazing, but then when they invited us to throw the pitch, I was able to bring my father. So to be able to do something like that at Yankee Stadium in front of my dad was just like, it was everything.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I don't care what age you get as a son, you always want to prove that you did good.
Yeah.
You know, to your parents, you always want to do that. Now, when I threw out the ceremonial first pitch, the reason why everybody, including the studio audience, will remember this, if you ever watch ESPN, is that when I threw out the pitch, right before that, they said, "Oh, you go first." I said, what do you mean first? He says, "Yes, because Stephen A. Smith is throwing that after you." And I was like, wait, what? So I was like, all right, cool. I get downstairs. I'm not paying attention because I'm trying to focus on do not do the 50 Cent, because he yanked it and it was horrible. I see Stephen A. Smith throwing the ball. Mm-hmm. He has a catcher. They gave him all his accoutrements associated to it. And they was like, "Hey, Tim, did you practice?" I was like, "No." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, I'm just going to throw the ball. I'm just going to throw the ball. And then because of this situation, another moment happened that we shared. The woman comes to me and says, "Tim, I want to introduce you to who's going to catch the ball for you." So I'm just thinking it's going to be whatever the backup catcher is. Yeah. And I didn't care. I'm standing in Yankee Stadium. And I turned to my left, and it's CeCe Sabathia. Mm-hmm. And I go out loud, all right, and I curse full chest, because he was the reason why I was wearing the sneakers that I was wearing, because he played in them. So I had no expectation to meet him. Fast forward to today. CeCe Sabathia just got inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. So I have my pitch that I threw to him signed by him. Nice. So I'm probably the only dude from Harlem to have a Hall of Famer autograph on a ball that I threw because of you.
Wow. And CeCe's who announced me when I won.
How dope.
He was who announced me when I won. Yeah.
All right, now we can get to your interview. All right, fine. But Tammeca is the owner of Harlem Cycle. Let's give a round of applause for Tammeca, please. Thank you. Come on. Yeah. Studio audience, y'all can't hear it, but there's actually an applause inside of this thing right here. So, Tammeca, please give the people an understanding of this monumental thing that you partook into and have become successful at doing it.
Yeah, so Harlem Cycle, we are a fitness and wellness space with dedication towards indoor cycling. We do other things, but our main focus is indoor cycling, as the name would
which imply. I'm an alumni because I am official instructor because I thank you very much.
So not only do we do these amazing classes, we do instructor trainings. We do a lot of community events and community initiatives. We do wellness retreats, like we're going to Costa Rica soon. We do a lot of different programming to make sure that we're always engaging with the community in different aspects. We have a Redefining Wellness program where we're strictly targeting women over 40.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's
hold on. Come on. Round of applause. Yeah. Okay.
Because at 40, things are different.
Well, like some people in our last episodes who are just turning 40 don't understand what this side of the coin is like.
Come on over to the dark side. It's different over here.
It gets better because you lose all energy to care.
You sure don't care.
It is out the window. I don't really give a damn about anything.
But actually, that program came out of once I turned 40. I was like, I've realized.
Which was last week, by the way.
Well, it was a couple of weeks ago. We won't tell you how long ago it was.
That's not important. It's not important.
But if you look at like marketing and different programming, there's either you're in your 20s or you're AARP. There's no in between.
Sure.
Like no one talks to the 30, 40-year-olds, or 50-year-olds actually. Like they talk to you when you're at a point where you're 60 and above or you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
And life is really happening at 40. That is when life has made a shift, but it is a great shift.
I agree.
And so we have this amazing program, Redefining Wellness, that we do for women over 40, along with our amazing cycling classes. And we do have 2 studio locations.
Hold on. Another round of applause right there. Actually, I'm not going to give you no applause. Air horns. Straight air horns. Okay. So tell everybody where the 2 locations are, please, because I want you to go with Uptown first and then the second one.
Yeah. So we are on Adam Clayton Powell between 137th and
7th Avenue if you're from Harlem.
7th Avenue if you're from Harlem. And then 125th or 2/5 if you're from Harlem.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. There you go.
Between Lenox and 5th Avenue. So if you're familiar with the Apollo, we're on that same avenue.
Yeah. Well, the fact that you were able to do it not once but twice, but also being a woman in business, having multiple locations while still being a wife, while still being a mother, that is not something for the faint of heart.
It's not. It's not for many, because we're still the only Black woman-owned studio in Manhattan. We are still the only cycling studio north of 92nd Street. And we all know in Manhattan, there's a lot of cycling studios.
Yes.
So the fact that we are still the first north of 92nd Street, which is shocking, but that says a lot. We've blazed a lot of trails.
I mean, you've paved a lot of stones here, okay? Now tell the people how long you've been there.
Yeah, so April will be 9 years. I know. They say once you get past 5, it gets better.
They say.
They say.
They say. That is just remarkable. And as our last guest that we have on, which you know very well, our friend Ja from Harlem Kettlebell Club, she's also a Lululemon ambassador. Yeah. So the reason why I bring that up is not the accolade from Lululemon, but more so about the fact that you're a woman in her 40s, a business owner, and you still did enough for them to recognize the importance of putting you on their ambassador team.
Yeah.
So that's no small feat in itself, because they didn't call me.
Wow.
I'm okay with that, though. Okay, I wear scrubs, so it's not the same thing. However, I really am, as you know, 97% of my staff are all women. So I take it's a very big heart moment for me when I see you succeed. And success is just, it's relative to the person, yeah? But I love to keep seeing my women win, because that's how I got here. Because, I'm raised a single Black mom in the projects. So, we have a T-shirt that I have that says, I take care of Black women. And it's such an important thing to keep seeing, despite everything that's stacked, it still doesn't matter. Yeah. Because you're going to keep showing up. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the pod, not necessarily just talk about your business, but the importance of perseverance.
Yeah, no, I mean, I will say we're going on 9 years, but it has not been an easy 9 years at all. Being the first always comes with its own natural challenges, but we survived. There was a pandemic in the middle of it, which was not easy. You had major brands that had 70-something locations that no longer even exist because of this pandemic.
That's a fact.
You had, it was a devastating time, but we grew out of it. And,
I mean, that's what happens when you plant it,
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm most proud of is the pandemic showed me how great we were at building community. And that was always the mission going into Harlem Cycle, was to create a space for my community where my community could see themselves represented, where they could see themselves, see their neighbors working out, meet up with them and do something for ourselves. And it showed during the pandemic when all the things. We had 2 break-ins during the pandemic. We had,
Lord.
Remember?
I remember, because I got pissed off and I hit you immediately and said, what do you need?
Yeah.
Whenever, it felt like it happened to me.
It was, at a time where we shut down and then this happens, it's like, it felt terrible. And you all know how hard it is when you've built something to watch someone literally try to tear it down.
For sure.
But what I saw in the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic is our mission of building community. That was where it was mirrored back to me. Okay. Because our community showed up when we needed them.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that by the time I reached out, everything had already been cleaned. People had already washed out. It's like to see the people corral around you. Yeah. And to your community credit, I should say, even your response of talking about it wasn't like come save me type of thing. It was like, look what happened something else that we got to deal with. Come on, we have to do better. And in that regard, people still took up in arms about making sure that you were supported. And that's the biggest difference, where people want someone to save them.
Yeah.
And then sharing, and then people wanting to be a part of something to save.
Yeah. Literally, and I got to shout out my brother John from Harlem Kettlebell Club.
You ain't got to talk about him.
Literally, everyone was like on the phone texting, and I was so overwhelmed I didn't respond to anyone. And I turned around, and there he was with a broom and dustpans and trash bags, and here comes someone else with trash. They just showed up, even when I wasn't responding.
I don't usually like to talk about John. I usually don't, but he does have a bald head, so I give him some access. But unfortunately, we have to talk about him. But the reason why I'm talking about him right now is because Harlem Kettlebell Club has sponsored your episode today. So yes, so in conjunction to you receiving your massage today, he wanted to make sure that he continued his support and his love and his gratitude for his sister by making sure that the podcast was sponsored, so that way we can stay on the air, but yet and still support somebody that he loves and cares for. I know it's a little, whatever. Everybody cares. But that was one of the things that I really appreciate, and seeing the things that you being able to expand and then getting to 125th Street, which is such a changing environment. Yeah. Like to as a kid growing up there, and then seeing you there was like, oh, that's exciting, because I don't even know if that was something that I could do. You know what I mean? Being from the neighborhood and everything like that, it also comes with its. I don't know if people are coming for me. So sometimes when you don't know everybody, it's actually better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you were able to build this community, but it was an allure thing too. It's like, oh, I want to cycle. Yeah. Because otherwise they have to go down to the closest one. Equinox is the closest one on 92nd?
92nd Street. Yeah.
So the fact that you've been able to do it not once but twice, because I even did massages for you at the first retreat for the glamping. Mm-hmm. So I saw it up close of how these women show up. At her studios. I have to say that they really, really do. What is something that has been your aha moment over the last 6 months? I try to keep it close because we understand how you got here, but what's your aha moment to going, all right, we're going to keep moving in this direction? What has happened in the last 6 months?
I don't know if it's an aha, but something I really honed in on, and now for the next whatever, I've realized I can't do it alone. And though I've always been someone who reaches out and wants to do partnerships and do other things, now I go into it like, this has to be a partnership to start this program, because with the business, you have so many great ideas and so many things, and you want to push them all through, but it could be so much bigger if you just had a partner. And so we have our fitness crawl coming up. Going in immediately from the planning stage to execution is always with the partner. Yeah. Well, when our redefining wellness, I work with Nikki Kimbrough on that one, and so it's like working with someone else, partnering 100% from the beginning of the projects to make sure we all have a buy-in, and it can be just so much bigger when there's like-minded people working together with the same mission and goal.
Well, there's a beautiful thing of understanding in that. I give a lot more credit to Black women because you guys are automatically collaborative. Men don't usually do that because sometimes.
I noticed that.
Well, here's a perspective. Men have rehearsed the ideology of building on your own. It's a rehearsed perspective. It's really not true at all. So particularly Black men, it's something to do with your machismo. It has something to do with your identity, that I created something. And a lot of times we hear from like the older Black men of our grandfathers who built the house. Yeah. And they were a mechanic. They did all these other things. And mind you, we don't give ourselves the credit for what we have because we keep holding it up to a light of something that we comparing ourselves to. Yeah. So what I give the better example is when Tammeca became a mom, whoever was your direct sister or sister by proxy immediately went into auntie mode. Mm-hmm. Immediately. Mm-hmm. There was not a question asked. There was somebody who immediately said, we're doing this baby shower here. We're going to do this, that, and the fourth. Now, for the brothers now, we usually, what's up with little man? Right? So we've gotten better as time has gone on, to be a little bit more collaborative, while subjecting ourselves to not having so much of an ego. So Deepak Chopra has a term for ego, EGO, edging God out. So I always use that as a reference.
That's good. I like that.
If we're able to recognize that, do you want us to win or do you want to win?
Yeah.
And the us has to be superior because it's strength in numbers.
Yeah.
So you've been able to do that. And I'm saying this as a person who's called her when I was reopening up this studio, and I sat at her front desk at the first location just to understand how to work this thing called mind body.
Yes.
I said, do you need me to sweep the floor? Do you need this? Because it was a resource that I knew that I needed. And sometimes that's harder to ask from other men if they're not in that same collaborative perspective.
Wow.
So the strength of our businesses are usually still predicated on the strength of our women.
But you just said something powerful there, because I think also another powerful lesson for me in these past couple of months is really asking for help. It is not just about the partnership, but also recognizing where I'm falling short and saying I need help. And that has been something that I have really leaned into for these past couple of months.
But you have to have confidence in yourself and your ability to produce when you're also asking, because some people look at that as a negative. When you're actually you're an empowering person when you're asking for help. The discernment that we have to have is being clear about who we're asking help from. And if you're choosing to ask help from people, this is something that I learned through my life, is be specific with your ask.
Yes.
So if you're talking to a person, if I'm talking to my director of photography or the producer for the show, or if I'm talking to other guests, if I want them to do something, I want to be very specific so they know exactly what they're responsible for. Because people will be like, yeah, I'll help you, but they still don't know the specificity of the help. So if you say, can you give me, a spin cycling lesson about how to gauge the music at this BPM? They can hit that for you.
Yeah.
But if you say, I just want to be a cycling instructor. Okay. So be specific with your ask. So that's what you got. I appreciate you doing that. Now, what is a highlight that you want to share, known or unknown, with the people that you're proud of you for? Yeah, shine a light back on yourself. Something that you
for this one.
I told you, it's a flow of consciousness when I'm talking to you. So I want to know, because you've done a lot that I've sat back and I've applauded and like. But what's something that you are very proud of?
So this is and I was about to say this is going to sound like bragging, but it's me bragging.
It's okay. This is not a brag. This is a blessing that I'm sharing.
I remember back in college when TED Talks had just come out.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, wow, you got to be, like, I just looked up to whoever did a TED Talk as, like, these, like, geniuses who were, like, the experts in everything.
Sure.
And I just was, like, so, like, one day that's going to be me. And then I did my first TED Talk last year.
Hold on. Let that air horn go. Let that air horn go. Okay, all right. Now, come on. Round of applause from the background. Come on. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
But the crazy thing is, it's just said it a year later. It's like finally hitting me that, Tammeca, you did the thing you said you've always wanted to do after all these years. Like, it took a whole year finally of like the dust settling for me to sit back and be like, girl, you did that.
Yeah. But here's the part that's crazy for me. When I saw it, I didn't even bat an eye of surprise. It's kind of an expectation at this point. And I like that I can call you friend and not just an associate, that you can live through people's accomplishments. Like, you knew that if you paid for one class, you were a part of it. If you knew if you liked one post, you were a part of it. All of those things stack people up to put them in position of security so they can keep moving forward. So don't stop liking people things. Don't tell them that you saw it. Let them know that you see it, because sometimes it can feel very isolated. So when I saw you have it, I was just like, yeah. Maybe I should have did a better job. Like, yeah, Tammeca, that was good. But I'm like, no, this is what I expect you to do. I expect you to be great.
Well, I mean, all these years I've been like, when I finally get to the level, I want to do a TED Talk.
Yeah.
And then it happened, and it didn't really register to me yet that this is what you said you were going to do.
Well, damn. I mean, the best part is you're still just starting. That's the best part. You still just started. You don't even know what's coming down the pipeline. You're just preparing yourself for it whenever it comes.
I'm ready. I'm going to be ready.
Okay, so when you're talking to if you're talking to the beginning stage of Harlem Cycle, if you're talking to that Tammeca, which is going to be a couple of people in our audience, what are 3 things they need to do and 3 things you want them to do? 3 things they need and 3 things you want.
Okay, beginning stages of business. Need to do is your financials. Don't play around with them numbers. I don't play around with numbers. Always do your financials.
Hold up. Before you continue, please tell them what your background is, please.
Well, my background is first in math and mechanical engineering, and then I do have my MBA.
Thank you.
But with that MBA and that grounding of knowing numbers and knowing how to do all the business plans and all the things, you need to know your numbers. And you need to set realistic expectations. So 1, know your numbers. 2, set realistic expectations. Just because you build it does not mean they will come.
At all.
So just know that the first year, 2, 3, may not be what you think they're going to be.
5, 6 sometimes.
Right. Overnight sensations take 10 years sometimes.
That's a fact.
Like, just know that it takes time. And then 3rd, I think you need to know it's not going to be easy. And I think sometimes people think because this idea is brilliant. Because to me, I'm the first cycling studio north of 92nd Street. Cycling is super popular. Everyone loves it. So, of course, if you put a cycling studio, it's going to be amazing. Everyone's going to jump and run to it. That isn't the case. And
if
it wasn't
you build
the
it,
case.
they will come is
No.
a movie reference, not an actuality.
not actuality. So just recognizing it's going to take work every single day, consistent work. Like consistent getting out of bed. I always hear people say they want to be an entrepreneur because they don't want to answer to anyone and they want to set their own schedule. Well,
That's
I
easier.
answer to my customers every single day.
Every
and
day.
I answer to my team and my instructors and my front desk every single day. I still work for them. 2, I don't set my schedule. The needs of my clients set my schedule.
There we go.
And that's going to always be that way. So you will always have somebody to respond to. So just know that why you're jumping into it needs to be solid.
Okay, so what's the 3 things you want for them?
I want you to dream big.
Come on.
I want you to leap. Take the leap, jump, put them crazy ideas out there because if not you, then who?
Or as my mama will remind me, God gave you the idea.
Right.
So you already have everything you need to do it. And that always sticks with me.
That's it. Just like take that big idea. You got it.
Apply the first 3 that she said
Right.
to those things, by the way.
Idea, then take the first 3 and put it to the idea.
Yeah.
What else is...
Remember, you're about to open Harlem
about to
Cycle. You're
open.
talking to Tammeca, so you're talking to yourself.
Yeah. Look, I always say if I had looked back before I'd opened and realized how hard it was, I may not have opened, Tim. It was hard.
But that's what is the term about ignorance is bliss?
But you have to be really audacious to own a business. You have to wake up every day, look yourself in the mirror and be like, if not me, then who?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really
It's on
have
me.
to-
It's on me. Yeah,
Like this
yeah.
idea is going to come and it's going to happen because I'm the one to do it.
Yep.
And nobody else.
And sometimes that's the conversation that you have with yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I'm a very big fan of theme music. You know what I mean? So like Jim Jones has a quote that says, when you can't stay motivated, stay consistent. Right? So showing up every day, what you are what your habits are. So I'll sometimes I'm DJing to myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do I need to put on to make sure I look at myself? I'm like, yeah. Until you start to actually believe it, you got to talk to yourself.
You have to talk to yourself.
You know what I mean? And give you that sense of going like, you know what? Oh, why not?
Yeah.
And so I have a thing that many of terms, but WTFN, and it stands for why the not. So if you're going to do something and you are scared to do it, that doesn't mean don't do it. Do it scared, because when you're scared, you pay a little bit more attention. So give yourself that opportunity to succeed.
Yeah. And then finally, I would say I want you to quiet the noise. There's going to be so many people, and many of them are wishing you well, but they don't realize that they're limiting your beliefs and your dreams by saying, oh, well, maybe instead of opening your own place, you could just teach at a studio. That's not the dream. Don't let them limit your dream. And just And they're doing it because they love you and they want to protect you and they want to make sure that you're going to be good.
Yeah.
But it's limiting your beliefs. So quiet some of the noise around you and focus in.
All right. I'm going to use that today, by the way, because this podcast the premise about it is to have conversation with people I know who go through the things that I've gone through as an independent business owner, but the independence of also being the only one of the ones that you're doing it. So of us being the only Black-owned wellness and health studio, when people hear it now, I'm like, I don't tell them that it's a Black-owned studio. It just so happens that I'm Black. Mm-hmm. We have to be good first.
Yeah. Oh, no, we have to be excellent. Excellent. I didn't get a day of not being excellent.
Come on. Tell them again. So the point about this is for you to listen, be inspired, give hope, and also have a community. Because if you're looking at this, if you're going to like it, if you're going to subscribe it, we want you to share it, but we want you to communicate. This is not a conversation for you to be judgmental. It's for you to ask questions. It's for you to say, how did you do that? And knowing that you have a resource of people who want to tell you. Because one of the best things you can do in life is not harbor information. Give it away. It's not yours. That means that someone taught it to you. Yeah. Just like she still teaches me to this day. Yeah. So on behalf of my future, when my son looks at that ball in my house, thank you. Shout out to CC Sabathia for bringing both of our lives a little bit more joy. And any parting words that you would like to give to the people?
No, just I hope to see you guys on a bike soon.
Come on, tell them what a bike is.
Come visit us at the Harlem Cycle.
Come on. And also, you can come here at Great Wellness and get some therapy like she's about to go get. So, peace to the kings and queens. Thank you for sitting down, having a conversation with us. Please tell your people where we at so we can tell them how to heal. All right. Music good, ain't it?